The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
Jayson, first of all, how's the wrist? What happened there on that play?
It's all right. I just fell on it, landed on it.
Was it just like a singer, or like you didn't wrap it up? But can you explain what the sensation was, or did it just go away, or is it something that you think is going to bother you?
No, I just landed on it. It was throbbing for a second. Kind of went away.
Did you get an X-ray on that? What was the result of that?
Yeah, it's clean. It's good.
What's up, everybody?
What's
Post-game
up?
pod.
Yes.
Abby, it's been a while.
The playoffs are here. Yes. I'm
Usually-
so excited.
Usually I'm the scream liability, but no, everyone else is getting the
I don't know
full
why you're
Abby.
being so quiet.
Me?
Being so shy.
I mean, I don't know.
Forsberg.
I haven't seen you in a while, and so.
That's true. It's been too
What was the
long.
last post-game pod we did?
We did one not that long ago.
Okay.
I remember being up high in the rafters in the dark alongside Barry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I blew out his eardrums with the intro.
You did.
Yeah, okay. Well, we are coming to you after the Celtics beat the Orlando Magic 103-86 in Game 1. I actually wrote down the score.
So prepared.
Like a professional. Where do you want to start?
Third quarter.
Oh.
Celtics outscored the Magic 30-16. Oh, I guess we should probably start with Jayson. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My bad.
That was number one on my list, but not number one in my heart. So, well, you just came out of the press conference thing that took very long. What did he say about his wrist?
Jayson said that he did get an X-ray. It was negative. He did not have any part of it wrapped. I could not see any noticeable swelling. And Jayson, in his own words, said it'll be fine.
There is a humorous clip that got posted of him walking off the court and his mother threatening to go to the Orlando locker room, which I like. I that's what I want from parents of players, to be ready to fight for their children being potentially injured.
He was not forthcoming. Neither was Joe Mazzulla, as you'd expect.
I am stunned by this information.
And although Joe said he's fine, he'll be all right. And
That I didn't trust at all. No, and not that I think Joe would. I think Joe just did. What is he going to know 3 minutes after the game?
I mean, but he knows it's your best player. It's Jayson Tatum. He's gonna know. I don't know if he would tell us what he knew, but he's gonna know.
It will now be the dominant storyline for the next
Yes, it will.
48, 72 hours until Game 2. We can stop worrying about Jalen's
Which
knee.
I just learned is Wednesday. I had it in my head as Tuesday. I was so confused when people were talking about Wednesday. So yes, Wednesday, Game 2. I will be here.
Do you know when you have to be in Orlando?
I just know. Yes, I do have that flight booked for Thursday, but I had to get my kids into after school on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because it's April break. So
I forgot about that.
Attention, everyone out there.
This is the part of our world that people don't understand.
Speaking of mama bears protecting
Yes.
their children.
Well, good segue.
Yes.
I don't think it was like a super dirty play. He kind of dragged him down and obviously got upgraded to the flagrant one. I'm sure the Celtics are not happy about it. But we expected this series to be physical, and it's ironic that Trae Young was sitting there saying after the playing game, that guy's injured that team has injured two of my teammates, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't get too worked up about it, and they play physical. And this happens. So
it's about meeting that physicality,
Right.
and that is what happens in the NBA playoffs. Jayson did say there was a little bit of throbbing, but he felt like it's okay now. So initially, yes, he said he landed on it. He certainly felt it. It did not feel good.
I can see that.
But he stayed in the game.
He did.
He hit a 3 almost immediately afterwards. I know the free throws were not
Yeah, that didn't make anyone feel any better.
great. No.
But he's been rubbing that wrist for going on 3 seasons now,
Right.
so I think we're
And
kind of just
constantly
used to
worn
it.
tape
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
So I don't suspect.
And I think he's probably used to it too.
Right. And he had a pull-up 3 at some point right after, and I was like, okay, he's fine. Like, this isn't an issue. Did you see Derrick White playing with his thumb?
We did. I don't think Derrick addressed
Oh.
that.
So, well, then I would hope that means that
I assume he's fine.
it's not a big deal.
Yes.
He also played the rest of the third quarter, I believe, so
Yeah.
it didn't seem like it. But let that be the transition to the more rosy outlook that you wanted to bring up.
We can also talk about Jaylen Brown playing on
Positive.
that knee as well.
And he
Yes.
said he's feeling good.
Feeling great. We saw him with a two-handed slam in the second half. He looked like Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
He had his burst back.
100%. And I think it was absolutely fair in this, what was really 2 weeks because he hadn't played. But like this ramp up to it, I know it was the dominant storyline, in part because they didn't trot him out there to talk about it until the Saturday, and then he was like, I'm not going to talk. And we're all like, come on, man. We got nothing else to talk about with this game. But within 30 seconds when it started, one explosion to the basket. I was like, oh, okay.
And to be fair,
cool.
Once we got him in the locker room tonight, all it was about the knee. So I understand why he is sick of talking about it.
But there's only one way to, no matter what he said Saturday, we were still going to be like, well, we got to see it. So
and we saw it.
And
it looked pretty good.
And exactly. And I think there's a whole other level he can go to. I think there was definitely some rust. But I think if you were worried that his performance would be more of the 6-point game against the Knicks where he was just not himself than maybe the 31-point game against Phoenix a couple days earlier, this made me feel a lot better.
Which tells me that's probably why he got the shot. I think that those last few games of the regular season, playing with that 20 minutes limit and trying to figure out different ways to impact the game, I think that was more about trying to see if he could do it without getting the treatment.
I think he got the shot before that trip. Just throwing that out there. So we'll see.
Okay.
Injury front is always going to dominate the news cycle because I think we've said it a million times. The only thing that can derail the Celtics sometimes, it feels like, is health.
I will say that before the game, I was speaking with John Henson, former NBA player. He said he got one of those paint shots in his back, and he felt 24 hours later, he was running and jumping.
Wow.
And he felt great. So I asked, how long did that last? And he said, about a month.
Okay.
So, yeah,
If we can figure out how to get, 2 months out of it.
Yeah, just get another shot, right? Is that?
So,
I don't know how those things work, but
if it's like cortisone,
we are not a doctor.
Let that be clear.
Yes.
I think there's diminishing returns. There's only so many times you can do it before it just doesn't give you the benefits. But yeah, I think the trainers know better than us.
Yes.
They'll figure this all out.
There is a bevy of medical staff, athletic trainers,
There are so many Australians,
doctors,
with mustaches
who have done a phenomenal job. I don't think they get enough credit for what they have done to keep this team healthy as much as they have.
Maybe we'll try to get an Australian on the podcast.
I think that an Australian might love to come on the podcast.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if they're allowed.
I don't think they're allowed to come on the podcast.
We're just
So let's talk Jaylen Brown's medical history. I don't see that as happening.
What can you tell me?
All right,
That would be a quick pod.
It would be. Yeah, no
Sorry.
comment. No comment.
Yeah.
Or whatever the polite way of not answering a question in Australian would be. Not Australian the language. but
Cheers, mate.
G'day, mate.
G'day.
Throw
Throw another shrimp on the barbie. That was terrible. I'm sorry. Yes, third quarter. Right? Is that where you're going?
That's where I was going. I was just, again, circling back to what I said, what is your biggest takeaway?
Third quarter, Celtics ramped up the defense, on-ball pressure, which Joe Mazzulla, in his omniscient ways,
That a word?
self, omniscient.
All right, I'm going with it.
No? Anyways, he
I'm
told
not a
us
word guy.
pregame that was going to be the key, and that turned out to be the difference in the third quarter.
They were very good. I actually thought the starters as a whole in this game, there was some rust at the start of the first quarter, but that third quarter stint was amazing and turned the game where if Orlando had any sort of momentum going into the break after kind of chipping away at that lead and feeling pretty good about itself, they stomped that right out. And then they looked
Led
up
by Jrue Holiday.
Exactly. Oh, and I thought, me and Scott were sitting there talking about the Tommy Award, and I think he really wanted to give it to Derrick because Derrick obviously had a big night.
Yeah.
But the spirit of the award is always not the guy who has the big night. It's the guy who does all the little stuff that impacts winning. And I thought Jrue in that third quarter took on the challenge of Paolo. I believe the numbers ESPN had were 2 of 11 when Jrue Holiday was the primary defender tonight. You might want to use that for a hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He took on every challenge. He turned Franz Wagner over at half court, took it over to the center court. They didn't pick him up for whatever. Hits the three, did the pinky celebration, and it was as fired up as I've seen him going to the bench.
And you know that his teammates feed off of that because this is a Jrue Holiday who, to a man, everyone in that locker room will tell you, when we get an aggressive Jrue, when Jrue plays like that,
Other winning.
yes, he is an X factor in a different way. If you want to say Kristaps Porzingis or Derrick White, but Jrue Holiday and his defensive intensity, and when he just increases that level of aggression, he raises the ceiling for this team.
Playoff Jrue.
Playoff Jrue. That's another part of it is the veteran in him understands that the postseason, you have to take it to another level, and he is ready to ramp it up.
He is. And I don't think anyone feared that. He had moments in the season where he was missing threes. The corner three wasn't as consistent as it had been. Then he comes out with the pinky finger, and everyone's like, "What the hell is mallet finger?" Like
He didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. But boy, has he embraced it.
Yep.
I mean, I
The
don't know.
tape's back though. He showed us at practice. He's got just this little tiny splint that he still has to wear. But
Every time I see him like high-fiving people, I get very like,
nervous, I know.
Just weirds me out.
Seems fine.
But
Doesn't seem to affect him.
but this is the Jrue Holiday I expected in the playoffs. A fun Jrue Holiday story is so me and our Jrue Cotter, were walking onto the court to do our pregame hit, and unbeknownst to us, as we were walking on, Jrue Holiday was walking off from the other direction, and so all these people were like, "Jrue!"
Jrue, like, yes.
In
the jacket. Did everyone see the jacket he was wearing? You could not miss him.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm selling out my friend here, but
No, he would think it's funny too.
He made fun.
Okay.
He made fun of himself in the moment too, because
That's tough. That's tough to know. There's a lot of Drews. There's a lot of Drews around.
He like, because I was right behind him and I was trying to get his attention in the moment, and he just like turns and waves and kind of looking for like where it's coming from.
But why not? I'm sure it feels great. It doesn't matter if it.
Right.
I would soak that up.
I'm trying to think if there's, like if I was ever walking out and Chris stops was, and people were like, Chris, like taps. that only happens in Miami.
That could happen. Oh, sad. We're not gonna get to go there this year.
But we might be able to do it in Cleveland. Maybe I'll show up there.
McLovin?
Yeah.
He does love the NBA.
He has a name.
Do you know it?
Yes. Christopher Mintz, and I always get the last name wrong. I think
You guys have the same first name?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
Rob
I'm
Williams.
not sure I knew that.
Yeah. Still don't know if when Rob Williams met him if he knew it was me or. No, Rob's a big movie guy. He knows who it was.
Rob knows who you are.
Rob does not know. I'm not certain of it.
You've professed your love for him for the better part of 5 years now.
He's not returned my call. I miss Rob.
We know.
And
Everybody does.
If you had like 7 minutes and they probably going off the rails, this is it. This is what.
Playoffs, baby! Game 1.
The award-winning 24 Auto Group is the easy choice for your next car, truck, or SUV. 11 locations and over 2,000 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock.
Shop the brands you know and love, backed by savings and service you can count on. Plus, buy 3 and get 1 free for all tire purchases, with 11 convenient locations across the South Shore of Massachusetts.
24 has the knack to save you more. Visit us in store or online at 24autogroup.com.
So I am overcoming some sort of head cold.
Why are you sitting so close to me?
I'm at the tail end. You should be much more worried about Wednesday's practice when I was breathing on you. What
else would you like to talk about? We talked about the third quarter.
What
else is on your little card? What happened to it?
I was trying to give you a health update. As I'm over here dying.
Give me a health update? On yourself?
Yes, like he's saying I'm sounding wheezy. I'm just trying to get through a damn podcast, and you're like, hey, what else do you want to talk about?
I know, that's why
you want to talk about the fourth quarter defense?
I'm trying to push us forward, Forsberg.
Appreciate you.
On to the next.
Derrick White was very good in this game.
Derrick White was phenomenal in this game. It felt like...
No, I'm kidding. I'm just wheezing.
I hope people are watching this on YouTube.
I hope so, too.
Yes, Derrick. It felt like the clutch Derrick was there for all 48 minutes.
I think what I like best is the start of the game. The Celtics came in. There was some obvious rust from the
Being
break.
off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and which was totally expected. And I think the emotions of playoff basketball, it's always a little janky at the first couple minutes. And Derrick was the guy who just kind of like hit a floater.
Yeah.
Everybody settled down, knocked down a couple corner threes. And what I thought was really cool was Payton then. I should bring that up because you're going to hear from Payton Pritchard in a second, because someone got a little walk-off interview with him.
It was me.
It was it was weird. They made their first subs, so they played 8 guys in this game.
Yeah.
So Cornette, Al, and Sam check in. So your 6th man of the year is your 9th guy tonight, and yet they were matching the Cole Anthony minutes. And Payton comes in and gave you an immediate burst. Really kind of kept you afloat when the
Came in
Magic.
cold. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the first time he touches the ball, drains a 3 over Cole Anthony.
I believe they have some sort of history.
I
Or
believe
shared roots.
that's just Peyton being Peyton.
I mean, it could be too. It doesn't matter who it is. Like,
Yeah.
He's going to invent something.
Payton, you checked into this game with less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter and knocked down your first three. How did you do that?
Just preparation. Had a long week to recover, get ready for these games, and mentally, getting your mindset in that war mentality. So we're there.
What did you guys see on film at the break that led you to come out and put up 30 points in that third quarter, holding them to 16?
I mean, we just ended up hitting some good shots. What we ended up doing is picked up our ball pressure, got stops, got out and run. Our pace was good. And when we're running like that, we get good looks, and the percentages will play out the right way.
Derrick White, huge in this game. Jrue Holiday as well. Yeah, how important were they in setting the tone?
I mean, Jrue set the tone to start the second half. His ball pressure, hit 2 threes, the transition, his energy, it just makes winning plays. And then obviously D-White had a tremendous game today, carried us, got us to a W.
How important was it to get this win like this, even on a night when Jayson is off?
Our depth of our team. Obviously, we know our 2 star players and KP, they're going to lead us to W's as they do. But, sometimes it takes other guys to step up and have good games and win games.
He prepares for those moments. And
Playoff P.
It was something that Joe Mazzulla pointed to post-game is just the versatility of these guys. And I feel like we oftentimes question the rotations, why things are happening, but it has made this team better for it because
sure.
You have to be ready to go in at any moment, and you have to play to the standard that the Celtics have established.
Speaking of guys whose first names start with P, Paolo Banchero. Good at basketball. Mm-hmm. Gigantic tree legs. Like, they are. Have you seen those things?
Yes. I heard you talking about this with someone else. You're like, I've never seen legs so big.
It was a topic on the post-game show because, Eddie was like, far be it from anyone to be looking at another man's legs, but it's you can't walk past that man without being like, oh, my God.
I've genuinely never noticed.
Really? These things are like
the thickness
tree
of his leg.
How have you it's impossible not to notice.
I'm also much shorter, so you'd think they'd be more on my eye
Yes,
level.
like right in
All right.
field of
I will
view.
take note in game 2.
Thank you. Paolo was good. Can they win? If
What's your point?
My point is Paolo had a monster night, and they still lost by 15.
Well, he had a monster first half. The Celtics did a much better job
100%.
containing him in the second half.
He was still very efficient overall, but he shot the 3 better than I thought he would. But I would agree that if he had been better in the second half, maybe it was a little bit closer. But if he gets
he and Franz Wagner was completely locked down and ineffective in the second half.
So if those guys, as they showed, if those guys are going, you have a chance. If they don't, it's a little dicier. What is the roadmap? So I guess that's my question. What is the roadmap for the Magic?
That is not for us to determine,
just saying.
is what I would say. But I'm not sure there necessarily is one. So much of the build-up to this game is talking about that Magic defense, second best efficiency in the NBA. You know who the third best defensive efficiency in the NBA is?
Sup?
It's the Boston Celtics. So
I don't know why I'm trying to take credit for it, like as if I'm playing defense or anything, but yeah.
The difference there is the Celtics offense also top 5 in efficiency in the NBA.
And not 27th?
They're not 27th, no.
Yeah. Like, I really like this Orlando team, and I do wish they were a little bit healthier. I think it would be a far more competitive series if they
I
had
do think Jalen Suggs would be fun.
But
Mo Wagner revenge game. We were trying to describe to my 6-year-old Silas what a revenge game is and just how Mo Wagner lights up the Celtics every time he plays them and why he's so disgruntled about it, despite the fact that the front office is no longer run by Danny Ainge. But I digress.
Everyone finds motivation somehow.
It is. And power to them. But those guys not available in this series.
All right, so like I said, the next couple of days are just going to be, hey, how's his wrist and all that stuff. But what are you looking for in game 2?
I would like to see the Celtics get off to a better start.
Interesting.
I
didn't think the start was bad. I thought they let go of the rope a little bit in the second quarter.
I feel like,
if you're telling me consistency, I can buy that.
To me, it felt like the Celtics saying the right things going into the postseason, everyone very excited. I don't discredit that. But then they looked up and saw this Magic team who they know they are much better than. And so I think that it is something where this is why Joe Mazzulla says this all the time. You cannot have expectations going into anything, and you cannot look past any team. But the Celtics team and the talent discrepancy in this series, as we saw tonight, like you said, Payton Pritchard was the 9th guy off the bench, and he came in and dominated.
Well, one last thing we should do. Tatum not in the top 3 for MVP voting. Do you feel any certain way about this?
I'm not surprised. I think that he is underrated when it comes to seeing his value on a national stage for the defending championship team.
You can just say the voters are dumb.
I mean, how do you vote against... Giannis was insane to close the season.
He was.
And if you're just looking at numbers...
And how many wins did that translate to? Did they get to 44 wins? 45? 46? I don't even know. And certainly he had to shoulder a bigger burden without Damian Lillard.
Apparently you feel some kind of way
I
about
do,
this.
so I'm glad you asked.
Yes, please.
I set myself up. So I thought by the end of the year the conversation would flip. If all these people that are in such a huff to vote for SGA because of the success that the Oklahoma City Thunder had, would say, "Oh, should I reward when I'm voting for a third spot?" Which, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. Like, no one sits there and goes, "I was third in MVP or fifth in MVP." Like, you're not first. But I thought at the end of the year they would look up and go, "You know, Celtics won 61 games." And I know they got a lot of talent, but Jaylen Brown didn't play at the finish line of the year either, and Jayson Tatum was a big part.
Kristaps Porzingis missed a huge chunk.
And so I thought
every opponent was gunning for them, being the defending champs.
It just feels like there's a different standard by which Tatum is judged, and I don't fully understand it.
And why is that? Why do you think that is?
One, people are a little bit salty when teams are successful. There's
particularly the Celtics.
Jealousy is a stinky, stinky cologne, but I think more so it's just people want to explain it by saying, "Oh, the Celtics' success is dictated by the fact that they have an amazing starting 5, a top 9 that are no one else in the league has," and that's completely true. But you can't use that logic that SGA deserves it over Jokic, and then throw it back that Tatum doesn't deserve it over Giannis. And Giannis is, you're absolutely right. Giannis' stat line, amazing, crazy, good. I thought at the end of the year, voters would pull their head out their ass.
I feel like you also want to see someone be rewarded for team play, which is what Jayson is all about.
It's a subjective award.
And
people just voted wrong.
I agree.
I
agree.
Just going to bat.
Cosign.
I just again, and it's fun because like now we're seeing national people come out and be like, "Oh, Jayson Tatum is underappreciated." Yeah, well, we've been screaming.
You had control over that. Could have gotten a little more appreciation.
I would love to. We
I don't
check
have a
their
vote.
balance.
Do you have a vote?
I don't have a vote.
Yeah.
I don't want to vote really because it's just too much pressure. But at least I would do my vote right, and so.
Says the man who doesn't have a vote.
Let's end on this.
Yes.
How was Easter?
It was great.
When did you decide on pastels?
A couple weeks ago when we're at the runway. Yes, I've had this I've been waiting for this moment. I almost wore it. We had a Sunday game, the last Sunday game of the regular season.
Was it a nice day outside?
Against Charlotte, and it was not. No.
Can't be busting out the pastels.
They're shorts. People may not be able to see, but it's not pants. Not a pantsuit. It's a short suit. So, how was your Easter?
It was nice.
Good.
I got some donuts this morning. Place called Rocco's Donuts. They're like the fancy donuts.
Shout out.
I'll have to bring some. Yeah. Send me free stuff.
Mabel handily won the Easter egg hunt this year.
Does she play fair?
Yes. And last year it was a tie. So she had to actually work for this one. She did a great job.
I have a friend that I golf with that went to an adult Easter egg hunt.
Interesting.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like if I didn't have kids, I would really enjoy that.
Well, he doesn't have kids.
Why not? What's wrong with it? Are you like, as long as people aren't like fighting or...
Oh, there was fighting.
Really?
I guess it got aggressive.
That seems unnecessary. What is inside these eggs? Is it just candy or is there money in there? Or like lottery tickets?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I don't know what the goal of it was. Like in my mind, I thought there would be like little, maybe nips and alcohol or something.
How much pre-gaming was done before?
Well, I assume a fair amount. I will ask questions the next time I see him.
I feel like you should have asked those questions before you brought this up on the podcast to close things out.
When are we going to talk about Easter again?
Next year.
Living in the past? I need everybody to go like, subscribe.
Wait, you don't have to toss to something?
Well, so we're doing it differently in the postseason, and thanks for being part of the pre strategy. We're going to intersplice the sound along the way, so as we were zigging and zagging, stuff's going to be dropped right in there by our fantastic podcast producers.
Way to
What-
go,
I thought
producers and editors.
I feel like we've added a lot to their
You
workload.
want to talk about versatility?
These
Let's
people are
talk
amazing.
about, yes, the folks at NBC Sports Boston.
Amazing. They're going to make us look good.
The best.
I hope they don't edit out all the frivolity. Is that a word?
Yes.
Okay.
Like omniscient. Also a word.
I'm going to go check the dictionary on that one. If you put that down in Scrabble, I would challenge immediately.
How many points? That'd be a ton of points.
How many lines?
It's a long. I mean, there's no X's or Z's, but I think it would take me a while to. I'm sorry, you're dying.
I'm wheezing
Go
again.
ahead.
I even came into this going, I'm going to be low key so I don't stop
Oh,
coughing.
is that why you wouldn't want to
Maybe
yell?
a little bit. All right, everybody go like,
Why'd
go
you
subscribe.
whine?
I'll be fine by Wednesday. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.